The specific episode's title was called Blood Lane, which is quite sketchy for a kid's cartoon. The episode started off with Squidward playing his clarinet, like in Squidward's Suicide except with different animation. There is a ring of the doorbell and he answers it. It was Spongebob and Patrick. They ask with jellyfish nets in their hands if Squidward was ready yet. He of course said no and angrily slammed the door in their faces. He then walked up to his room and returns to his clarinet and he hears the doorbell ring again. And when he opens the door, no one is there. Squidward angrily walks back upstairs and returns to his clarinet, but he still hears SpongeBob and Patrick laughing outside. The bubble transition plays, and the scene then shows Squidward sleeping later that night. He hears SpongeBob laughing, and the screen shows a close-up, and Squidward wakes up. This happened repeatedly for about a minute or so before the bubble splash screen came up once more. The episode was now following Squidward, at sunrise on the next day, trudging to SpongeBob's house with angry, bloodshot, pulsating eyes and a revolver in his hand. As he steps forward more and more, he starts growing visibly crazier as he hears SpongeBob's blowhorn, and SpongeBob wakes up and starts laughing some more. Squidward is now on a slow dash, and suddenly the background starts to move in impossible directions, and the sidewalk starts to twitch more and more violently, for the somewhat like a high-pitched Managland earthquake or something along those lines play. Suddenly, a photo of Bikini Bottomites mangled and bloodied on the streets, entrails and all, and buildings in shambles on fire, pops up for about a few seconds. In that scene was real dismembered people. Horrible things had been done to them. Squidward then appears decayed and older, and even more insane. He reaches SpongeBob's house, and the screen then glitches out. In the midst of the glitching, you could see text that said, "He's never coming back, and you get away as you can." The audio is of Mr. Krabs, Pearl, and Squidward screaming with undetermined sounds mixed in. Squidward speaks, but it is inaudible. Squidward enters SpongeBob's house and runs to the decrepit bedroom, and SpongeBob is laughing and talking to Gary. Squidward yells his name and then says prepare to be sent to the next life. He shoots SpongeBob in the lungs and then again in his torso. SpongeBob collapses into a pile of bones and flesh. Squidward feasts upon his body and then runs back home. Squidward then goes back to bed and he looks crazy. He talks to his clarinet and says, "Ah, another day, another death, eh, Clary?" As the shot pans out, there are many cartoonishly murdered bodies of other Bikini Bottomites, including SpongeBob, whose body was done in an abstract style, now only a random shape with blood on top of it. The bubbles come back up and the credits roll. The strange thing about them is that the only name repeated over and over again in different layouts to represent the actual credits is a text, "Vos est mortus," which is a language speaking to be French. The United Plankton and Nickelodeon logos are gone and replaced with the image of Squidward giving a malevolent smile with red eyes. And he's in a room which looks like a mental asylum. The text, "Vos passion est mortus," appears, also supposedly French, and then the episode fades to black. One final image pops up for less than a frame, but an employee refused to reveal its contents no matter what. It was said that if the viewer saw the image for more than even a second, they will get the urge to vomit immediately. The only survivor of the specific incident, one of the employees, is the only known person to survive the final image. It is still unknown what was in that image, but it's said to be a real photo of a demon or even the devil himself in hell with souls, and Squidward next to him tormenting souls. But this, however, was never particularly confirmed, though. And that, my little shadows, was SpongeBob Blood Lane, a SpongeBob Lost Episode creepypasta. Okay, a lot of people have pretty much been asking me and practically begging me to keep on doing more SpongeBob pastas, and more or less out of respect for Steven Hillenburg's recent death, I withhold myself from actually making any. But since it's been a little while and everything's more or less settled down, I've decided to go on ahead and do another one. Unfortunately though, oh my gosh, this one was just... It was bad. It wasn't horrible, but at the same time though, this story was absolutely terrible in ways than you would probably think. Now, I think it's kind of obvious what the problems are with the story. I think the main issue that I tend to have with the story is the grammar. Specifically where punctuation marks are at. Oh my gosh. If you guys noticed that I stuttered a bit and that I kind of mispronounced a few things, it's because of the fact of the matter that the grammar itself was not exactly on par. It wasn't terrible, but it really could have had a better editing, in a sense, if you want to put it that way. Somebody really should have proofread this a lot better, because honestly, no. Just no. This entire thing was no. I mean, I get it that Squidward can get pretty pissed off at times, but I highly doubt he's gonna sit there and completely and utterly kill a bunch of people or whatever because of the fact that he's like having a bad day or whatever. I mean, but I think the biggest problem that I have with the story, and yes, there are actual pictures in this, I might show a couple of them, but even on that matter though, the entire story was very, very cliched. I mean, you got the language, you got the freaking blood, the gore, you got all of it, people. I don't think and you know what's sad? The fact of the matter that this story is considered a good pasta. Goshia Lost Episodes, what the fuck? Like, seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, it's about as boring as a cliche creepypasta can get. I'm not gonna rant because I don't feel like it. Overall, this is all my own personal opinion. What would I have done to make this better? I don't know, maybe give it a better kind of storyline or something? Honestly, these stories are literally kind of more or less becoming the same, and I think a couple of people have commented that all these Lost Episode creepypastas are literally just the same. They become, and they're copying each other, they're just in different kind of cartoons, and I have to agree, a full hard 100%. And if you're like me, who's literally narrated probably over 1,000 plus of these Lost Episode creepypastas, and probably have like literally thousands more to narrate, you can certainly agree for a full-on fact that a majority of them I'm quite sure are going to repeat themselves. And this is one of them. And if anything, I'm sorry, Steven Hillenberg, rest in peace, man, because this story did not do you any remote good. I mean, credit where credit is due, though. It tried. So that's my own personal thoughts. My final rating of the story is a 2 out of 10. That's all I can give it. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this story, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you all would have done to make this story better. I'm the Shadow Reader. Thanks again for watching today's episode, and like always, roll the outro, roll the outro.